a quarter-finalist from Stockholm.
Indeed, and well, spawning in the top left position of the map, that is Whirlwind. As the red Terran player, our Korean from Team FXO, it is Gumiho. And spawning in the top right position, as our blue Zerg player from Team Evil Geniuses, the Korean, it is Jaedong. As Apollo would so aptly put, the Dong.
The Dong, who hopefully is going to be ringing some doorbells later with a ding-dong victory over Gumiho. We'll see if he's able to bring him down, because this is going to be a difficult game, a difficult task for Jaedong. But this is the rematch from the quarterfinals in Stockholm just a couple of months ago. We saw Jaedong go head-to-head against Gumiho in a game that nobody expected Jaedong to win. And then all of a sudden, he came out the victor and was able to knock Gumiho out of the tournament and move forward to the semifinals, where he would ultimately play against Naniwa. The rematch is here. Gumiho needs to get his revenge. Jaedong needs to feel what he had back then, needs to get the Eye of the Tiger, needs to get that Jaedong fierce face back to be able to do it once again. His tournament life depends on it here.
And you know, it's very, very interesting that you put it that way. We have this map, Whirlwind, which you would say is a great map to get a solid beginning off here, but is Jaedong going to be looking to perhaps get that security in this series early on? I mean, is there a likelihood that we might see with this horizontal spawn that he could go for a bit of the aggression here versus Gumiho? He's already opening up with the gas after the hatch first, and is that really an option here to go for the aggression?
Definitely. I mean, there's always the option to go for aggression against Terran players. Always the option. Especially now seeing this command center first nice and early. From what I've been told by the admins, because the three-way tie is a very high... It's probably going to happen if Jaedong gets the win. If he doesn't get the win, he's out. It doesn't matter. But if Jaedong wants to win, and obviously wants to continue in this tournament, he needs to beat Gumiho, and a three-way tie will most likely happen because Sting will probably beat Panda Tank. And if that happens, and Sting 2-0s, it's very clear Jaedong needs a 2-0. A 2-1 is not good enough here. It's that close. It's that down to the wire.
It's quite a scary position to be in. He cannot afford to drop a single map in this series, let alone just winning it. So the SCV from Gumiho is going to be able to come in here and be able to scout out this gas timing. He's not crazy committed to it, though. He's going to take them off now that he has started the speed. Don't think we see any more gas being accumulated by Jaedong, just one drone perhaps. And you know, at this kind of situation, is the speedling play going to be a little more viable? But we do actually see a second refinery coming down for Gumiho. Yeah,
well, the Gumiho is going to go for the Hellbat drop, that's for sure. The speedling play is fine to get a bunch of Zerglings, not to overcommit though. Especially against a good player like Gumiho, he will build a wall off relatively fast. And in this game, we can see, oh my god, there's a Bailey Nest, oh my god.
Well,
oh my, Jaedong. A Baneling Nest has been thrown down this early.
He must have put those drones right back on the gas as soon as that SCV scout was gone. And well, the armory's going to be starting now for Gumiho. I mean, Apollo, as far as this goes, he hasn't moved the command center down to the natural yet. Can he bust this at this point?
He can bust it no matter what. There's a supply depot there. It's going to get bust down. If he picks up the command center, goes down, it gets bust. Either way, Jaedong's coming for this. Here comes the pickup. That barracks is going to go. Oh my god, a massive wall, a massive hole.
Oh my goodness.
When's the command center going to go down? It looks like Jaedong's going to have to burst through these supply depots. 4 Banelings getting morphed. And remember, Jaedong needs to clean this up 2-0. If this doesn't work, he's in trouble.
And important to note as well, if he can bust down these depots fast enough, he can supply block Gumiho. He is throwing down a third depot to finish this wall off. There's a lot of his infrastructure here. The Banelings are now approaching that base from the third area. The starport's about to complete. He has the Hellbats on the way, but
Jaedong.
This is going to be super rough to hold on to. More Banelings are being morphed in. Jaedong, he's sending the Banelings up the ramp into those supply depots. He's going to take out.
Get the supply depots down.
All gone. The SCV's being pulled. He's going to try to hold on as long as he can until these Hellbats come out.
Oh, Hellbats are going to roast a lot of Zerglings. He's got to be so careful where the reinforcements. Jaedong's got to do this here. He's got to do it now. Can he do it? So many units are going down.
He is going to be able to pick off a good number
Get
of
the SCVs.
but
Oh!
the Hellbats, nice hit there. A lot of them with barely any health left. They're going to immediately start repairing each other while the Hellbats go to work. And keep in mind, Gumiho is only on 2 CCs. These SCVs are not that easily replaced. More Banelings being morphed in here, and he's also preventing that counter aggression from the drop play. The Hellbats so far being as stable as possible.
Two Banelings, SCVs, one hit by, oh, okay, the Hellbats do that, but he's knocked his opponent down at 8 SCVs. Jaedong's up at 21. He's droning behind this, but more Zerglings are coming. He needs to kind of create a wall off, whether it be the command center, the barracks, the starport, whatever. Zerglings do come in before Hellbats do roast him. Oh, Jaedong needs to back off there.
It's a bit hard to run by those 4 Hellbats. It's going through the meat grinder, as it were, except I guess the oven. But he did kill off quite a few SCVs.
So what Jaedong can't get through this anymore. There's too many Hellbats and there's a wall being created as mentioned. Now what Jaedong will probably hope for is at home set up a defense, additional Queen Spore Spines. As soon as the Hellbats get picked up and go across the map, Jaedong goes in with those Zerglings. That's probably his plan at this point. Jaedong maintains a 43 supply lead over 29 at this moment. A lot of Hellbats are being created. Jaedong's still droning up. 2 base versus 1 base is fine for now. And he's got an Overlord on the natural of Gumiho here that will spot the Hellbats going. This may be Jaedong's chance to go in, but there's Hellbats already there. There's 3 Hellbats. Jaedong's going to move up here, and he's going to get roasted. He gets 3 Zerglings in. There's no low health SCVs. Maybe to get 1 or 2. If any SCV kills a bonus. Oh, he targets down 1. He gets 2. That's good. That's nice play there by Jaedong. But now, is the defense good enough? Is the defense good enough?
He's bringing some of those other Zerglings back towards the main base now from outside of Gumiho's natural. And he has the lair starting. No third base yet for our EG Zerg, but these Hellbats, they have a very, very prominent presence here. Very threatening to anything that's moving between these bases, although the Spine and the Spore are going to do quite well at holding this off. But now the Hellbats have landed. He's just going to possibly go for some straight-up head-to-head combat. But he's going to have to lift up for now. And I feel like, he hasn't really done quite as much damage. The economic lead for Jaedong is nice, but he just needs to make sure that he properly takes advantage of that.
Right. He needs to take the gases on the natural. The best opportunity here just hit me. My life just flashed before my eyes. Get the Spire. If Jaedong gets the Spire, OMG. He may be able to win with just Mutilus. He needs to make sure he holds on. So maybe move a Spine down to his natural. There's still quite a few Hellbats out here. Before he gets to the Spire, he needs to, oh my god, he needs to hold on. The amount of Hellbats coming across the map. He needs defensive Banelings. He's going to go for a counterattack here, but he needs units back at home. 4 Spine Cores are being made. 16 Zerglings. That's a lot of units that Gumiho has. The supply depot, is it going to go down? Is he going to repair it in time?
Well, the Hellbats are about to barge here into the natural expansion, trying to get on top of these queens. He's going to throw maybe in the medevac, put the Hellbats behind him. SCV does come to repair this depot. He has 2 Hellbats behind that as well. He won't be able to break him. And Gumiho, the rest of his Hellbats are moving in. He's got some in the main base, some in the natural, some on the ramp. He actually brought the Marines forward as well. The queens doing absolutely everything they can hold on here. The Zerglings are getting a pretty decent surround, and he's forcing him to fight near the Spine Crawler, but the medevacs are still intact, doing a lot of damage, but I'm not sure these Hellbats are going to be enough.
A transfuse on that queen in this, he's going to hold this no problem. He's got enough queens, he's got a bunch of Zerglings, and now the lair begins. He actually cancelled the lair and cancelled the gas on the natural. Jaedong is feeling the pressure here. He really, really wanted to go up to Spire, and now all of a sudden he's got a difficult position to be in. He could have had the Spire down by now, but he cancelled it. He really thought that he needed every little bit of resource to hold that off that he could get his hands on. But now the Hellbat count continues. Is there enough Zerglings? No, there is not. Especially not with a Medivacs there. But Jaedong now going to go for the Spire again. At this point, it won't bring a big enough impact like it would have done before. So he's probably still going to go for it. But he's now taking the third base with this too. We are going to see Mech from Gumiho here. He's getting +1 attack. He's building Vikings and Hellbats. He'll want to get probably a third command center or some extra gases, how he wants to play this out, whether he goes macro or 2 base.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting setup right now for Gumiho. He's going to load up 2 more medevacs full of Hellbats. There's 2 spines here with that Spore. He's just going to try to drop right into the mineral line, possibly focus the drones down. Nothing significant killed off just yet, getting a few drone kills in here, but there are so many queens. Those medevacs is his #1 priority. And the Hellbats, well, they're going to dance around the main, but there's not much to do at the same time. Banelings moving in, picking up a couple of these units at the front of the natural of Gumiho. The Zerglings are going to start to stream in. More Banelings are being produced. We can get it surrounding these Hellbats. That will be key, but with the medevac support, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, it didn't really work there too well there for Jaedong. But his defense is good. I really like the use of the queens here. It looks like Jaedong is he going to morph Banelings on this left-hand side here. It's a bit of a risk, to be honest, but oh, he's going to come in. The Hellbats are in the Medivac.
And just drop right on top of those Zerglings. These will raise the ramp. A couple of Lings will get by those Lings with the trails of fire on them, and he sees, okay, well, you know what? Gumiho has had constant unit production, sure, but he hasn't been able to actually add infrastructure to continue that unit production. It's just double Hellbat and double Medivac. He's trying to win with crazy amounts of micro and slowly buy his way back with economy. He has almost equalized that economic disparity that we saw earlier, and that could be enough in the long run, but he doesn't have any infrastructure at all as far as anti-air goes. That Spire that you did call out is now on the way.
Every time that Gumiho moves out, Jaedong moves in with a bunch of Zerglings here. He's got to be careful not to lose too much army supply. He's killing off a few SCVs, but not that many in all honesty. He's killing hardly any. And there's a large army with +1 attack now that Gumiho has. He's up to 7 Hellbats and 4 Medivacs, and more units are coming. With just Zerglings, it is difficult to hold off, but we do see Jaedong taking the third base at 1-1. Centrifugal hooks and the Spire on the way. It looks like Gumiho's going to move out again, and Jaedong's going to do exactly the same thing. Counterattack, counterattack, counterattack. Very important here. Oh my god, 10 Banelings too.
Yeah, now he sees those Medivacs moving out. He has the Overseer inside the main base. He knows everything that's going on, and this is such a crucial moment. A lot of Banelings are on the way. Centrifugal hooks, as you did say, are coming in at the same time. The Medivacs are going to get spotted by the creep tumors. He's moving the Queens out. Here come the Banelings, Apollo. This is going to be a very tense moment right now.
Well, there's not too many drones here. If Jaedong just moves his drone back and focuses on the natural of Gumiho, which he's going to burst through here. Oh, mine's not borrowed in time. The SCV spread, but he still loses quite a few here with Zerglings as well.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of hits off on this SCV line. The Zerglings, like you said, chewing through everything else. There are Vikings here, but they're not really the greatest on the ground. He's going to drop those Hellbats into natural expansion. The drones a little bit exposed here for Jaedong. Going to pull them away now. Gumiho, he's not getting that position that he needs, that he wants. The Queen's doing a great job of zoning away these drops.
And now in Korean you say, Mutaliska, because the Mutalisks are coming out and he doesn't have anything to keep on going with these drops now. He can't keep dropping. He has a few Vikings left at home, turrets placed up. So yes, he's set up now defensively, but aggressively, no more Hellbat drops. Now the Mutalisks are here. This is perfect for Jaedong to start to drone up, get 2-2, and start to move away from defending. You know, he's actually thrown down a Roach Warren 2 and +1 attack, so he's actually going to play with Roaches now too. But this is really nice for Jaedong. He's going to have a bit of freedom to drone up finally and get above that 50 drone mark for the first time in this game.
Yeah, an interesting point to bring up is that the Mutalisks oftentimes will force from a Terran player a lot of rushed anti-air, missile turrets, Thors. We do see a Thor on the way. That's going to be enough to help the switch into Roaches be very effective, since he won't have quite as many siege tanks. He only has one tank about to pop out. Is he going to continue steady tank production? Is a very important thing to see as this game goes by because of those Roaches that could be coming out. Now, the missile turret and the Vikings doing a great job of zoning away these Mutalisks, but the infestation pit coming as well. We could see potentially Swarm Host to stop this, or some sort of rush to Hive.
I'm pretty sure we'll see Swarm Host here, in all honesty. Great versus mech. Jaedong's got a couple of Queens here with a bit of energy, so he could heal up those Mutalisks. But these Vikings, I mean, they actually beat the Mutalisks now because there's not too many of them. And there is the Enduring Locust upgrade for the Swarm Hosts. But this is a good game. This is a really, really good game. Look how it started and look where we are now. Gumiho's going to take his third base finally. Jaedong's taking his fourth. He's got his creep spread finally moving out. Lots of upgrades coming in.
Yeah, and finally being able to stabilize is a very important point. He has the +2 attack on his mechanical units, and if you look at the number of Zerglings that were on the field, +3 wouldn't be bad. It basically lets Hellbats one-shot normal Zerglings, so I don't think we'll see too many more of those, but he still has them on the production tab. He's getting the Glial Reconstitution now, as well as that Enduring Locust upgrade that you pointed out, but he's also making sure to stick on the melee upgrades as well as those ranged ones. And I feel like Gumiho's done a pretty good job of stabilizing himself here, especially acquiring this third base, which is hard to get in a normal game when you're going mech.
So I'd say this game's quite equal. You know, not too much advantages anywhere for anyone to hold on to, but we do have this third base now down for Gumiho. Gumiho's got to be a little bit careful. They do spot now that this third is taken. Let's see how these Swarm Hosts are going to be used. They're obviously going to be used defensively, but let's see how well they're going to do. As they kind of need to look at that creep spread. All of a sudden, when Jaedong gets a bit of freedom, bam, creep spread everywhere.
And there's quite a bit of it. He needs to get a little bit closer maybe to his opponent's third base. And one of the best ways to abuse a meching player with the Swarm Host is to use the fact that, well, Thors don't kill the Locust that fast, and siege tanks are slower than, I don't know, almost as slow as the Queens that we saw being time warped off creep earlier today. So this is going to be a great opportunity to abuse the immobility of this mech armor. We do see a second armory coming up, so he's going to be able to move into the double upgrades. But there we now see the Swarm Host getting into a little bit better of a position to start to really put this harass on.
And we are going to have the Hive coming in, so we will see Vipers come into play, whether it be a Dups or simply Blinding Cloud. Both are great against mech. Swarm Host starting to launch their Locust over to this third base, starting to put a bit of pressure on to Gumiho, who's ideal in this. I mean, mech is so good on Whirlwind because you're defending up ramps all the time. There's high grounds, high grounds, high grounds, and that's kind of where he needs to be. Mech tanks filtered units through these ramps, perfect. But Jaedong cannot allow Gumiho to get to full bases, so he needs to put the pressure on. The Hive and Vipers should be out before that.
And that's going to, you know, Blinding Cloud's going to be quite useful in terms of engaging these Locusts. You get a lot of siege tanks, but the problem with this is if your siege tanks are spread out too much, one big wave of Locusts can punch through any individual part. So you have to keep your tanks nice and close together. Guess what loves tanks nice and close together, Apollo?
Vipers.
Yes,
and a lot of other units too. But Vipers. And Blinding Cloud.
Blinding Cloud specifically can be quite a pain to deal with when you have your tanks trying to focus on these large clumps of Locusts. And we do have the Hellbats pushing out. He's trying to make sure that he can at least kill off some of these creep tumors, slow the advance. He's going to get one of the Swarm Hosts for free at least, but he has to retreat as the next wave of Locusts does come up.
Well, he hasn't really killed too much with these Locusts. A couple of Hellbats do go down there, but still, he's on 3 bases. That's Gumiho. Trying to get a 4th command center down now. Jaedong doing a good job so far. Great creep spread. Look at that, just going all over the place, taking the 5th base. Greater Spy is on the way as well to kind of complement these Swarm Hosts. And remember, this is a must-win for Jaedong, not just this map, but the entire of the series, as he does launch his Locusts in 2 different angles here, up north and then slightly to the west, killing an SCV, killing the building the 4th command center. A bit. Oh my gosh! All right, it's the 3 Thor drop.
It's the Thor Mata moving out in those medevacs. He has a reasonable number of siege tanks here to defend. We did see him put out a Raven. He's got a Banshee coming out to try to poke away at these. Oh man, he actually
going for the hatcheries.
He actually drives by that one hatchery in the bottom center, but he's going to put some harass on this base. He's using some pretty sick micro. The high damage output of Thors are going to crush these spine crawlers. Can even take out that support without much issue. And the Mutalisk sent to clean this up. Well, not like you want to run into Thors with Mutalisks.
Yeah, well, you can if there's Blinding Cloud there, that's for sure. And oh, get back over here, you. As the Mutalisk, oh, is he going to get the Thor? Yeah, he does get it finally, just about. But nice harassment there from Gumiho with these Thors. I mean, they're not going to be very useful against Swarm Hosts, are they? So
it's cool to see at least. You know, you got Thors speeding around there. You'd really think hanging out of the medevac like that would slow them down, but we do have Gumiho trying to push out towards the center, and yeah, I like this. He's being aggressive with the most mobile parts of his army, and the least mobile parts he puts in medevacs and flies around. So the siege tanks stayed home. The Hellions, I love these mixing in regular blue flame Hellions, though. He's going to be able to snipe this hatchery with the Thors, something that we don't often see. But the DPS of Thors, man, they no longer have those 250 millimeter cannons, but with +3 attack, they actually have more DPS with the regular fighting anyway.
That's right, and that's a nice snipe there by Gumiho, and Jaedong's back down to kind of 4 bases. Needs a mine from that 12 o'clock one. He's starting to push forward now. Good upgrades on his units across the melee, missile, and carapace, but that's a lot of Hellions and a lot of Hellbats. These units need to be very, very careful. They're going to send out their Locust. With the Hellions, why are we seeing Hellions? If Gumiho smells one point of weakness, he will run in, scan, kill everything.
That's a really good point. You know, we don't often see a player switching to Hellions versus this. We actually don't see this really happen in this situation that much, but the Hellions do have more range. They have that line splash damage, of course, and they, of course, can do a little bit more to defend the super fast-moving Locusts. It's a bit easier to fight versus them, and I think it's a really nice adjustment to make versus this setup with the blue flame, dealing bonus damage. These Locusts actually not really doing as much damage as you would expect versus this mech army.
No, not really, and we are having to switch over to air units now for Gumiho. Probably Banshees, most likely Battlecruisers afterwards, but for now, just Banshees. Quite a few Corruptors are coming out. They do have +2 attack on the way. These Hellions, though, are very good, obviously, against drone lines as well.
Where'd you hear that, Apollo?
I've known it for a couple of years.
Tragedy of playing Zerg, but you know, the other cool thing is that he's had these Vikings for so long. Any quick switch into Corruptors is going to be, you know, not as hard to defend. And here we go. So those Hellions are going to run by, going for a little bit of a Korean barbecue here on this drone line, starting to chew through them quite quickly. So much red. I feel warm on the inside already as +3 armor is going to be completing for this mech unit soon. Seeker missile dropped on this. Corruptors are going to hit anything. Yep, a little bit of
damage, but more importantly, these Hellions are still alive, just going around. Toasty.
Man.
Jaedong's dropping in supply. He's actually researching Boros, so he doesn't have to deal with these Hellions anymore. But look at that, they'll just toast the roaches if they want to. They can do anything here. They're going around for another drone line, and there is a juicy drone line just south of here. Oh dear, is he going to go south? Does he go down? Uh-oh.
I mean, there's
drones are like, no, not us.
Not the drones, but you know, he does have the 3 spines there, the Mutalisks as well. This is a very interesting way of abusing the immobility of this swarm host-based composition. We actually have Corvid Reactor coming in for the Ravens, and that's going to allow him to really move into that heavy Seeker Missile setup, and that lets the Ravens come out with Seeker Missile.
But the most important thing here is Jaedong is keeping Gumiho away from 4 bases. He wants a 4th base. The command center was blown up on the left-hand side here. The main base and natural of Gumiho are mined out. He's got the fusion core. You will be going into battle cruisers, but he won't be able to afford many. Jaedong's got a lot of money. That's where Jaedong's strength lies in this game, with his money.
That's a very good point to make. He's actually going to kill a lot of these workers trying to move out here, and the tanks doing what they can, but we do have Gumiho slowly but surely getting more and more aggressive about taking this base. And with the Ravens, he's going to have that cost effectiveness of being able to throw out the Seeker missiles, try to shove away some of these units, potentially clearing out the Locust if he can use the Hellions to run in, like you said, smelling that blood, that weakness. And when Corvid Reactor's done, they're going to become quite a bit more cost effective. But like you said, he's going to clear out this creep. I mean, is going for that left side base or this top center base going to be more cost effective, or at least easier to secure?
Yeah, I mean, the north base is better, especially because he's going to be playing air. And, you know, with Battlecruiser, he can easily come over to this one and just pick off this expansion. So he's going to try and take that location up there. It's a little bit easier to defend, too, since it's a bit closer to home. Battlecruisers are on the way. We've got Broodlords now on the field. There are a lot of Vikings, though. 11 Vikings, 11 Corruptors, 8 Broodlords. Jaedong's playing this out really well, though. I mean, both players are playing this out really well. This is some really top-level Starcraft. This base is going to go down. Jaedong cannot let this happen. He needs to start marching north with this army, moving it up, getting the swarm host over there, start sieging with his Broodlords, and here comes the movement. Jaedong's getting ready. Look at that siege tank line. Good gosh, is that long? The Broodlords need to siege it from a distance. Remember, there's Vikings, there's Seeker missiles.
There's 4 Ravens on the field right now for Gumiho. Moving these Broodlords in is going to be a little bit difficult if he doesn't have quite enough support here. The Viking count, very powerful. He does have that +3 armor, and man, those Broodlords getting clumped like that is giving me shivers with the potential of those Seeker missiles.
We could see anything happen here as Gumiho's finally found this 4th base, and his minerals at the moment, 82, as you can see at the bottom, will shoot up incredibly fast here. Swarm hosts aren't breaking the tank line. The tanks have +3 attack here. They're getting destroyed before they even get there. I think he needs to take a different approach. Maybe send the Locusts up to the north side. Oh, Hellions have found their way to a mineral line once again. Do get shut down by a bunch of Zerglings here. Jaedong down to only 47 drones. The Locusts, do take my advice, do move up north. It's probably the best location to be. Uh-oh. Oh
boy, he's going to use those Seeker missiles, trying to soften up these swarm hosts, and the Banshee is here as well, picking off quite a few of these. Needs to make sure he doesn't spend too many of those Seekers, I think, though, because he does want to have them available for the Broodlords or the Corruptors if he does go for the final, or a final push or shove with his Air Force. We have Infestors coming out into the fray as well now. The Battlecruisers, though, not quite so worried about the fungal growth. If he can support them properly, those BCs will be more than enough to shove this army away.
Fungal growth, neuroparasite, if he researches that as well. These Infestors can be very key in killing off these Vikings. If he lands the right fungal, look how clumped those air units are. If he hits that fungal and gets his Corruptors in there and continues to chain the fungals, but Gumiho's managed to start mining again. He's going to get closer and closer to that 200 supply. The closer he gets, the more deadly he becomes. Jaedong can't quite break through here.
Yeah, it's a pretty rough position to try to crack. I mean, his +3 air weapons are about to complete. There's +2 ship weapons. The battlecruisers with that +3 armor. One of the best things about mech and Heart of the Swarm is the shared upgrade. But here are the Broodlords. The Seeker missiles are going to be targeted onto them. The fungal growth's going to hit the battlecruisers, and the Seeker's going to blow all the Broodlords up. 2 left, barely any hit points. A great hold of this attack by Gumiho.
And Jaedong just punched Gumiho, and he grabbed his hand, twisted it, and punched him back. Because right now, Jaedong just threw a lot at him, and nothing really happened. Now we need to see that magic brain, that wonderful mind of Jaedong come to work. What is he going to do here? 11 Corruptors coming in. He's finding this very difficult to fight, as we can see. Gumiho's really locked himself down here. He's got to taunch supply. Good fungal. Oh, the Vikings, if he can keep these fungals going down. Corruptors, though, he's got to spread away from Seeker missiles. He may not have enough Corruptors to keep that fungal down. The Vikings do take a lot of damage. Gumiho running out of gas as well now. I think his main base may be very close to mined out. If not mined out already, it is mined out. Jaedong expanding down south. Hellions hitting that southeast expansion.
And, you know, he's done a decent amount of harass. He's killed up the drones. Of course, the issue here, though, is once he gets the drones back, there's still a lot of resources left there to mine. He has a bit more of a sustainable late game. We do see the tank Hellbat drop, though, in this top right base, denying the economy. Gumiho says, I want you to play on my level, and that's the broke level. And, you know, the other thing to consider is the Ravens are beginning to accumulate that energy again. There was a fungal growth earlier, but we do see the Yamato gun being used to focus on a couple of these infestors as well. The Queen's putting in the support, but they're not that quite strong versus battlecruisers.
And Jaedong actually loses an expansion here, and he may lose the one at the south side too, is the air starting to push forward. These battlecruisers are a pain in the backside to deal with. He does lose that one to a couple of Hellbats. Corruptors are chasing this down. We do have Seeker Missile on the back too. He does split them out. He needs to spread out. There's another one right in the middle there.
Oh, it's so hard to split them properly with this many. He's going to get a great couple of hits. Almost all the Corruptors taken out in a matter of seconds. And those Vikings still survive despite another day. The supply starting to favor our meching Terran player. I have to say, this is not a composition that we see very often in Korean level Terran versus Zerg. But damn, it has been a blast to watch so far, the way he's been controlling these units, Apollo.
Dude, I'm watching Jaedong right now, and I'm saying, what are you going to spend your money on, bro? And he just sunk it all into 13 Corruptors. All his money's gone. So that's where he had a bit of a bank, and now it's gone. He's running out of resources. He's running out of locations to mine. We actually see Banshees coming to harass these expansions too, to keep any hatcheries from going down east. And then another expansion is going to happen here for Gumiho at the 9 o'clock position. He's about to take it with his a command center from the main. Jaedong is slowly starting to die in this game.
And I think if he does, like you said, secure that extra base with the main base command center, this is going to make things really, really difficult. As a changeling blocking the base.
You're not going to mind that, buddy.
Well, you can always use the Hellion to clear that, but he's going to run in towards that right side. And, you know, with the additional Corruptors, he's taken so many cost-effective engagements here. Great fungal growth trying to abduct in the battle cruisers. The Seeker missiles are going to drop, though, really hitting a lot of these Corruptors right now. And this is a very tense moment for both of these players.
Jaedong pulls a couple of these battle cruisers. They do fall down. Nice trade-off there by Jaedong, who takes the supply lead back in this game by 20. Hellions come in and find another drone line here. Banshee is harassing that south one. Great harassment. The transforming ability finally being used here by a Terran player, Gumiho, running around the map with Hellions and then transforming them into Hellbat. Is using it very, very cost efficiently to bring down these expansions. And we do have an expansion. Mules will fall down there very shortly. Jaedong, 5 supply in the lead. A very close game, a long game, 39 minutes at this point. Both players looking to find a way. Gumiho's running out of money now himself. He's got almost nothing banked up. No, nothing banked up. He's got hardly anything mining as well. That bottom left expansion for Gumiho, if that goes untouched and Mules land there, that's very good for him.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's got some cost-effective engagements, but he's moving the SCVs down to the bottom left side, and, you know, they pass on the creep. Well, now Jaedong knows, and we should see a couple units move over to that side, at least trying to check what's here. The Roaches will come up, and they just see a bunch of SCVs, and they might anticipate that their base did move somewhere else. It did fly over that changeling that we saw earlier. But at this point, Gumiho needs to make something happen with the units that he has, because as good as these fights have been, he's no longer got that supply lead. These swarm hosts, they've been on the field for so long, they still managed to find a way to be cost-effective despite everything so far in this game.
5 Broodlords morphing in right there. Oh, where are the Vikings? They're coming back shortly. There's 10 Vikings on this map. The Broodlords are still morphing. Oh, what's that from the north side? A couple of swarm hosts, locusts do come in there. Come the Vikings. Uh-oh. There's the Swarm host. I mean, there's the Corruptors.
It's a slightly awkward position. The Vipers and the Corruptors tanking these hits while the Broodlords get to work on the tanks. Now, he does have enough tanks that he can still punch through this. He's going to say, as long as he avoids those Locusts with his siege tanks, he should be fine dropping the Seeker missiles, but not really able to hit anything on these
Still
Broodlords
10 Vikings. Still 10 Vikings. The Broodlords are going to fall down. There's only a couple of Queens here. Transfuses is going to fight. Oh, Jaedong's losing a lot of supply here. That's a lot of money that he's invested in this. Tanks moving across the map at the same time. 20 Zerglings. Jaedong's had to resort to Zerglings here.
And that's it's a bit of a sign of a desperation move. He is mining a lot more minerals than he is gas. So these tanks are going to siege up, blow this hatchery to smithereens, and now another Raven is being produced. If Gumiho can acquire another base, that's what he really wants, these gas-heavy units. Even if he drops some mules.
Broodlords finding the tanks. There's only 3 Vikings, but there's 3 Corruptors. Gumiho's taking a bit of damage. Jaedong does have a 40 supply lead. Queens and Swarm Host come to trap these tanks. These tanks are actually cornered here. Swarm Host from the north, Swarm Host from the west, and Broodlords from the sky. These tanks will fall down, and likewise will Gumiho's supply. And Roaches now. There's the expansion. That is Gumiho's gold mine there. Queens coming in to do some extra damage. Got to be very careful not to lose these Queens. Going to need them against the Vikings, but the tanks shall fall. Jaedong takes 140 supply lead over 74. These Roaches probably not the best idea to fight this planetary fortress, but Jaedong is doing it. Gumiho's out of money at this point. Let's overlook at the units tab here. 3 tanks, 3 Vikings. Let me repeat that. 3 tanks, 3 Vikings, and 8 Hellions. We have 15 Swarm Hosts, 2 Broodlords, 8 Roaches, and a couple of Corruptors. Jaedong, after a long, drawn-out fight, may have started to gain an edge back in this, especially if he brings down that planetary in the southwest, which he's aiming to do with the Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, and it's so hard to defend this because if he's at SCVs, needs in the mine, not repair. He's hoping to gain money out of this. He can't afford to invest resources into this, and his army is so far away. He has such little to actually stop this. I don't know if he can even defend this base. He's running out of options, Apollo.
Yeah, Gumiho is really running out here. But Jaedong's got another mining base down south at 140 supply. This planetary fortress is being targeted down. Jaedong kind of climbing up with his roach count here. If you look at it, Roaches can probably win the game. 15 Roaches to 5 tanks. 5 tanks. Let me repeat that. 5 tanks. I keep repeating this. There's 15 Roaches and 5 more on the way. Jaedong's just going to overwhelm these tanks in the middle map. The planetary fortress is finally going to go down here in the bottom left. Another wave of Locusts, and that will fall. One single SCV repairing it. Gumiho down to 70 supply. We are approaching the 45-minute mark here. And we're about to see Jaedong bring this down here. These Swarm Hosts with great upgrades. All the SCVs come to repair. Good game. See you later, Planetary Fortress. That is out of here. Now Gumiho has no income. Nothing here. And Jaedong is building an army to win this game. 5 Infestors to join those Roaches.
Yeah, this is very tense. He does morph those Hellions into Hellbats by that bottom base Jaedong has, but also to consider just any kind of scrappy situation the game enters now, he does have the creep tumors to spot anything that might try to move across the field. So those Roaches are going to try to get on top of these siege tanks. They are in siege mode, however. He's going to blow the majority of them to smithereens. But like you said, this is a very, very difficult position to be in. He doesn't quite have enough resources left, even on his side of the map, to compete with what Jaedong is currently mining. 3
Hellbats looking around for expansions. He doesn't know how much money Jaedong has. He really doesn't know anything at this point. Slowly moving. But the game is slowly stopping as we have an observer issue. As Jaedong very close to actually winning this game here. As you can see, we're on the edge of our seats casting this game.
Yeah.
Currently 147 supply to Jaedong, 85 for Gumiho, who's not mining at this point, or at least not for much longer. 30 seconds left until we get back in this game. This observer has dropped. Bit of a tension breaker.
Yeah.
I'm feeling quite good myself. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really enjoying this game,
Yeah, me
actually.
too. It's not bad. It's all right.
I'm
seen better.
I don't know, man. As someone who likes mech against Zerg, I think this is a pretty cool way that he's played it out, at least with the Hellions and the Blue Flame versus the Locusts. Didn't quite pan out exactly the way that he wanted to, with the current situation of the game, but it's been a pretty awesome match to watch, at least, especially since we don't see much mech versus Zerg in the pro scene anymore.
Yeah, and it looks like this observer is gone, and we're back into the game. So let's continue from where we were, as Swarm Hosts are starting to attack this planetary fortress. Oh, it shouldn't go down. It should have enough to repair this.
Yeah, but I mean, he could repair it, but the big issue is, look, he doesn't have any money. He's going to spend every dollar he has defending the last few dollars left. Tanks do siege. The Locusts are already on top of most of these tanks, and everything he loses is invaluable at this point. It's just slowly whittling him down if there's nothing left. These Hellbats are being active on the field, messing with this, but Jaedong has a lot of static defense, and he's going to drop these tanks, try to pick off this base. Gumiho is not giving up without a fight. However, he still needs an answer to these Swarm hosts despite anything that he kills.
Yeah, and there's also 7 Broodlords coming in, so that also is going to deal with all the Vikings. There's, I think there's, 7 Corruptors, sorry, there's still a couple of Broodlords here, as the Vikings on search for them. Got to be careful, though. There are quite a few Infestors around, I think. Oh, there they are. Oh, God, there they are.
Yeah, and he's going to throw down the fungal growths on these units, infested Terrans as well. And with the Roaches, they should be able to clean up the majority of this. The Vikings are continuing to search for Overlords, but now the supply for one of these players
47.
has been slowly but surely dropping. 47.
Gumiho's going to try and expand to this left-hand side to try and keep in this game. Corruptors have found the Vikings. Swarm hosts are bringing down another expansion here. Jaedong takes another small little victory. And where are those roaches? How many roaches does he have now? Only 3.